الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون والذين هم عن اللغو معرضون والذين هم للزكاة فاعلون والذين هم لفروجهم حافظون إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم فإنهم غير ملومين فمن ابتغى وراء ذلك فأولئك هم العادون والذين هم لأماناتهم وعهدهم راعون والذين هم على صلواتهم يحافظون أولئك هم الوارثون.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Indeed, all praise and thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask him to continue to extend his peace and blessing on the best of mankind, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, his household, his companion, and all of us who are sincerely trying to follow his footsteps to the day of judgment. Allahumma ameen. Welcome our brothers and sisters back to our weekly program on Buruj Learning Community, where we try our best to, enlighten ourselves and our brothers and sisters all over the world about the deen of Allah with the kitab and the injunction of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Allah for bringing us back safely from last time. We are doing our episode. Our episode is about 40, which we are, taking a deep dive in the book of that, Al Imam Jalil, a huge, powerful Imam, which is Imam Nawawi. May Allah have mercy on him. We are, trying our best to kind of, digest, analyze the 40 hadith. By Allah's will, I think we're on the 12th hadith today.
No.
But before we go into the hadith, little housekeeping. If you're not following us, join us on Facebook, subscribe, or YouTube, and just we try our best to give the most authentic content based on our ability and capability. So try to spread the word and share. And like our videos, and just spread the word. Man dalala al khairi ka fa'ilihi.
No.
Whosoever direct somebody to something that is good, he himself will get that reward. May Allah make us set pace setter and set trenders of goodness.
Amen.
Inshallah. So today's hadith, inshallah, I will start it off and I'll leave it to my sheikh, my co-host, Imam Shoaib, to show us the skills that Allah has blessed him with, inshallah.
That wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan. That wasn't the plan.
Hadith number 12. Al-Hadith Thani Ashar. The hadith number 12 is An Abi Hurairata radiyallahu anhu. And I think it's important when we get here, whenever we talk about Abu Hurairah, that you want to translate in English is the father of the little kittens. So, but Abu Hurairah is one of the Sahabiyun Jalilun. It was obviously mashhur, fi kulli makan, everybody know him. He was one of the hadith that narrated a lot of hadiths. 2 things or 3 things about him before we go, and I think it's important as Muslims you know this. He came to Prophet one time and he told the Prophet, Anakumalai, my teacher, a lot of things you be saying, I don't be remembering stuff. I don't remember stuff. And the Prophet, one of the mujiza, one of the thing that Allah did, Allah blessed him immensely, many levels. So he said he should take off his shirt, put his shirt down. He made dua, and he wore back his shirt. And he said, since that day, I do not forget anything. So I mean, we can go into so many things, but that's not that's the point today. Then he said, we learned a lot from these companions. May Allah be pleased with all of them. He said, one of the reasons I used to go to the Prophet's house is not just to learn. No, I go there to eat.
Before now.
Like I don't have no food. I go there. I know when I get there, and it's real because we can relate to this. Like if you're gonna go to madrasa, you know there's gonna be food. You're
Yeah,
gonna go.
you're gonna go.
You're gonna get pizza. You're gonna get chicken wings and burger. The learning might not be the primary reason, but one
But
of the
you're
reasons
there. You're there.
you're there. So may Allah make it easy for us. And another thing that we need to know is Abu Huraira is his laqab, meaning like a nickname that was given to him, but his real name is Abdurrahman bin Sakhar.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people don't know that there's Abu Huraira, Abu Huraira. All of those that have names like that, laqabs, that have it's good as Muslims to know what their actual names are. It's just for learning purpose.
No.
And I'm Abdurrahman too, so
So you gotta know.
So it says, قال Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This hadith, like my Sheikh said earlier, is one of the principles of or pillars of the deen that if we sit down and imbibe the teachings and lessons of this hadith, as an individual, will be better people. The society will be a better place, and the community at large, even the world, will be a better place to live. And this is not just for Muslims. This is like a universal hadith.
Right.
Let's say, as a Muslim, if we follow this hadith, I mean, we will be better people. We'll be better individual. We'll be better Muslims. We will be a better human being. And what does the hadith? It says, "Min husni Islam al-mar'i tawkuhu ma la ya'nihi." Beautiful hadith. Min husni. We can translate it from many aspects, but let's use part of being a good Muslim or part of perfecting your Islam. Part of making sure your Islam is a Islam that is practiced to attain excellence. It says what? Tawkuhu ma la ya'nihi, is living alone that which does not concern you. In simple English, minding your business.
That's it.
I mean, it sounds like what's the, and we can dissect it in many angles, economically, spiritually, morally, socially, physically, anyhow you want to look at it. It is beneficial for you to just mind your business, leaving something that does not concern you. What is that? It starts from Subhanallah, Sheikh. I was reading about um death or life after death, I should call it.
No.
Al Hayatu Barzakhiya.
Okay.
So, and in the book of Ar-Ruh by Ibn Qayyim,
Okay.
the title of the book is called Ar-Ruh, the soul. And the book goes extensively in depth about the life after death. When you visit, it starts by saying, when you visit a dead person that you knew before, that they return the soul to that person when you say salam. And whenever you say salam, the person will respond, but you will not hear them. And it goes about different things that happen after that. After the person passed away, and we just feel like everything is gone. It's not done.
Right.
That Ayatul Barzakhiya is really, it's not a joke. What I want to use is that when I want to use about that is that a lot of people don't know. Ma ba'da al-maut ashaddu min al-maut.
Correct.
What is after death is more severe, is more harsh than death itself. We are so concerned about death, but we're not concerned about death is inevitable. We're gonna die. You're gonna be like, where's Abdurrahman taking this? So when I was reading about that, I stumbled upon an hadith where I would try to link this hadith. The hadith is that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was walking by with his companions one day, and they walked by a graveyard, and he was telling them that there are two people in the graveyard that they are being punished, and there was like, what are they being punished for? He said one is, we say this so that we can all benefit from it. One of them, that when he urinates, it stands when he urinate, and the urinate stains him. So that's telling us, I mean, some places that's the way we're going to do it. That's telling us that we need to be very careful when you urinate, and make sure that the remains of the urine does not stain us. Because if it stains us, we don't have salat.
Right.
So, and it's preferable to sit when we have the chance, because that would reduce the chance of you getting stained.
Sprinkling yourself.
Sprinkling yourself, yeah, that's the right word. And in addition to that, for learning purpose, it is important for us, even if we have to stand and use the urinary, what you call it, right? We should, whenever we finish urinating, as I'm talking for males specifically, we should wait a couple of seconds so that the remains of this, so we will not sprinkle ourselves, and make sure we clean ourselves properly. This is part of our deen. This is part of who we are as Muslims. I'm talking for Muslims. So in that hadith, I'm coming back to this though. That's telling us of my what I derive from that aspect of that first part of the hadith is negligence.
Mm-hmm.
But the second part that I want to link with this hadith is, he said the other person is getting punished because of namima.
Subhanallah.
And
Gossip.
Gossiping. So if the person is minding his or her business, you will not fall into that. So that means namima, it is a huge sin that can get you, that can be a source of punishment in the grave. Are you feeling me?
No.
That could be a source of punishment in the grave. So as a Muslim, and this starts from early age, we should try and imbibe this culture in our children. Like, mind your business. A wise man said, like, he says, I have so much faults that I don't even have a chance to look at others. So the more you focus on yourself, the better you become as an individual.
Right.
The more you focus on others, you will lose sight of your own goals and aspiration. So Islam is telling us, like, yo, focus on you. Focus on things that are important to you. And now link me to another hadith, and I'll leave the floor to you, inshallah. The Prophet said, the best of mankind is the one that is most beneficial. The one that is of, that radiates benefit, that people benefit from. And the worst of mankind, it is the one that causes hardship and harm. So there's no way you can be beneficial. There's no way you can be a person of benefit, or you can be beneficial, if you don't mind your business.
Right.
Because the time you're supposed to use to be minding your business, you're on social media. You're taking pictures you're taking screenshots of pictures, sending it to others. You're doing this and that. You're calling on the phone. You're chatting. You're FaceTiming. All those time, you can use it to do something beneficial. You can read a book. You can use it for things that will add value to you. But you're busy doing, or you're engrossed in things that will lead you, that can possibly lead to the hellfire, but for sure that will lead you to the punishment of the grave. So it's very, very important for us to focus on, we should know, and I think this hadith talks, to me, one of the things I derive from this hadith is prioritization.
Right.
Prioritize things that are important. Time management, goals, aspiration. You manage your resources, because our time is a resource. Our health is a resource.
We're not just looking at it like that.
Yeah. So
because our society is not teaching us to look at it like that. The religion does, yes, but the society does not.
So our time, our health, our family, our knowledge, everything. So if we don't manage it properly, if we don't optimize it, we will lose. And I'll end with this. All these things that we're doing has to do with time. Al-waqtu kasefi in lam qata'u qata'ak. Time is like a sword. If we do not utilize it properly, we would regret it. And the Prophet said, take advantage of 5 before 5. There's no way, if you want to perfect our Islam, is that take advantage of your youth before your old age. Take advantage of your health before you get sick. Take advantage of your when you're poor, when you're rich before you get poor. What else? Take advantage of what?
When you're free before you get busy.
Yeah, when you're free before you get busy. So a lot of times for us to engage ourselves So preoccupy ourselves with beneficial things. We're doing things that are not. We don't say again. We always say this in this program. I'm not saying don't have fun, don't do things, but whenever because namima, things that lead to namima is lagu,
Right.
it's vain talk. When you're idle, when you do idle talk,
Mm-hmm.
and funny enough, the ayah that we started with is like one of the characteristics of the believer is they distance themselves
From
from
Lago.
lagu, from vain talk, from talks that the best way is talks that has no benefit, does not add value to it. So when you're in a circle of people and they're always this is what people don't know. When you're in a circle of people, they always talk about others. They'll talk about you too when you live.
When you're not there, they're gonna be rest assured they're talking about you.
Why do Lumaz
Be rest
That's
assured
Allah says wailun,
they're talking about
punishment.
you.
Wailun, the wrath of Allah. Wailun, woe to you. Likulli humazatin lumaza. For those that in your face they're saying something, and those that in your back they're backbiting.
Right.
And it's not, and I mean, we all know there's an ayah in Surah Al-Hujurat that says, would you like somebody to eat your meat? You would dislike it. So if you don't want others to talk bad about you, don't talk about others. Simple. So I'll let you take it on from there.
I like how you went with first talking about the book of Ruh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And bringing that hadith from Namima, right?
Yeah.
And then connecting it with when you talked about the five before five, اغتنم خمسة قبل الخمس, all of that ties into this, right? And the third verse in Surah Al Mu'minun, right? الذين هم عن اللغو معرضون. Those that distance themselves from vain talks, right? All of that comes under this main principle. I see this hadith as a principle that we should live our life by. The Prophet ﷺ is saying, essentially, your Islam would not be perfected. And we know, like you've taught us, Sheikh, Islam is just the entry level. It's not Iman yet. Yeah. It's not Ihsan. Just your entry level would not be perfected if you don't leave the things that do not really concern you. That is just Islam, because it says min husni Islam al-mari.
Min,
right?
And Jews. Just there's
a portion of it, right? And this is just your entry level. So if you're doing terribly in the entry level as being a Muslim, how can you get that? How can you get to a mu'min?
No.
I remember when we're treating the book last season, when we're treating the book Ayu al-Walad, right, by Imam Ghazali, there's a statement Imam Ghazali made. وَمِنْ عَلَامَةِ الْعِرَادُ اللَّهِ عَنِ الْعَبْدِ إِشْغَالُهُ بِمَا لَا يَعْنِي.
Allah.
The sign to show that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is distant from a person is that the person continues to busy themselves with things that they have no concern with.
Allah.
This is in Ayu al-Walad, right? And I'm thinking, okay, this is one of the advice that Imam Ghazali, may Allah be pleased with him, gave his students, right? That asked him for advice. And then he had all of this advice captured in this book. If Imam Ghazali at that time was looking at this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and using that to formulate an advice for his students, that I want you to know that for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for Allah to be distant from a person, one of the ways we see the traces of it is that the person busies themselves with things that do not benefit them. They're time wasters. Literally, they're time wasters. And astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive all of us. We're all time wasters. We're all time wasters. We waste time. I know I waste time a lot. So this hadith is really speaking to me, right? I waste time a lot in many things that I do. Work, family plans, just different things. I know that I waste time a lot. May Allah forgive me. So
Mhm.
let me speak from an individual person now. I have to become better at managing my time. I have to become better at ensuring that the things that I'm spending time on are things that are going to benefit me in the long run, right? And spend more time doing that. I mean, we're not saying don't spend time to just relax and kind of like rejuvenate and then get back to it, right? However, we don't spend time in things that has nothing to do with us, would not benefit us on earth, would not benefit us in our grave, would not benefit us in the hereafter, would not help us increase in any way. So why are we wasting time, right? Why are we wasting time? And this verse in Surah Al-Isra comes to mind. Allah
I was just
subhanahu
thinking
wa
about
ta'ala
that
tells
surah.
us, now,
Go ahead. I was just thinking about that surah, but I don't know if it's the same ayah. Go ahead.
could be. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Isra, He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَلَا تَقْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ
Mhm.
إِنَّ السَّمْعَ
Mhm.
وَالْبَصَرَ
Well,
وَالْفُعَادَ كُلٌّ أُولَئِكَ كَانَ
and
عَنْهُ
it was
مَسْئُولًا.
masula. Then
That verse is scary.
you could say that again.
It's scary. Just imagine. Okay, Allah is saying part of a list of advices, right?
Yeah,
ولا
it's like
تقربوا الزنا
yeah, it starts
ولا
from
تقتلوا
there.
أولادكم,
Yeah,
coming down. Now when you get to this verse, Allah says, ولا تكف ما ليس لك به علم. Do not pursue, engage yourself with things that you have no knowledge of, in terms of they got nothing to do with you. Literally. Those things have nothing to
and
do
it's
with
not
you.
restricted to religion.
It's not restricted to religion. No, it's not.
If they're talking
Just
about a topic you don't know, just keep short.
just keep short. Just keep short. And if it's something that does not concern you, don't engage. We see people engaging in things that have nothing to do with them today, right? Then Allah tells us the reason why we should not engage in that manner. Because He says, Inna sam'a, our ability to hear, our hearing, wal basar, and our ability to see, our sight, wal fuad, and our heart, our thinking, heart and mind connected. Kullun, all of these, ulaika kana anhu mas'ula. We will be asked about how we've used them. All these parts will be questioned on the day of judgment. اليوم نختم على أفواههم
وتكلمنا أيديهم
وتكلمنا أيديهم
وتشهد
وتشهد
أرجلهم بما كانوا
أرجلهم بما كانوا سبحان
يكسبون.
الله
الله
بما
أكبر.
كانوا يكسبون.
الله.
So Allah is telling us in Surah Yasin too that on the day where we will think that we are smart and we want to lie, our mouth, our lips will be sealed, and then our hands will speak and our feet will testify to the things that we used to do. All the parts of our body, all the jismil insan, all the parts of our body are meant, are created for us to use them to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we start using them for things that they're not meant for, guess what? It becomes problematic for us. When we're serving Allah with our bodies and all of the things that we have, we're giving them their due rights. However, when we're doing other things that has nothing to do with us, we're wasting time. We're applying these parts of our bodies in the things that they're not meant to be used for. When you use a tool the wrong way for what is not meant to be used for, what happens to that tool? Becomes bad. So when we start using our hearts, instead of using our hearts for dhikr, connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when we start using our heart to engage in vain talks, to waste time, guess what? We start having too many wrong in our hearts. And the heart would over time become black. And then when the Quran is recited over that person, it has no effect. The person claims to be a Muslim. However, that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not there anymore. Going back to what Imam Ghazali said when I mentioned in the beginning, that a sign that Allah is not closely connected to a person is that person plays and they just engage themselves in things that would not necessarily benefit them. Ibn al-Qayyim, may Allah be pleased with him, has a similar type of statement. He says that wasting time is worse than death. And he says this is because when you waste time, when a person dies, the person is separated from this life, from this world, right? However, when the person wastes time, they're separated from Allah. Allah is not engaged with them when they're wasting time. So we see that it's very, very beneficial for us to ensure that we're looking at the time that we have. Again, it's just 24 hours, right? And if we ask ourselves, why are we not being as productive, and we complain that we're not being productive, we should go back to the drawing board and just ask ourselves, and be sincere, how much time am I wasting? How much time am I wasting? Just going back to the points that you made. How much time are we wasting when it comes to scrolling on TikTok? A huge time waster. That app is a huge
Twitter,
time waster.
WhatsApp, you keep going.
WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter. Oh my God. People get so engrossed in conversations that have nothing to do with them, and they start clicking the thread and start opening the longer thread and reading, and I'm like, and you go so deep into the conversation that has literally nothing to do with you. We've wasted time. That is time we would have spent memorizing the Quran. That is time we would have spent, maybe learning a trade that will benefit us. We can learn anything right now through the internet, right? You don't necessarily need a certification for it. Learn. We should be learning. We should be learning. The scholars have explained that we should be in one of two stages in our life. Either we're taking knowledge, meaning we're learning, or we're giving knowledge. Okay, we already have the knowledge, we're sharing to help benefit other people, right? But if we're in a space where we're just wasting time, we're not necessarily learning to benefit us, or we're not giving people knowledge or helping, then it's a waste. It's a waste. That's a free time that we have, like the Prophet advised us, use your free time wisely before you get busy. Before you get busy. We're free, but we're not using it, we're not investing that time, literally, so that in the future we can cash out what's better. In the future, yani al-akhirah. So we have the time. Allah has given us the time for us to be able to make Jannah by using our time wisely. Then when we come on the day of judgment, not just the fact that we've not used our time wisely, we see a lot of namima in our scale, and we also see a lot of backbiting people and slandering people and all of this. What we consider to be good deeds that we've done can potentially be stripped away from us. Those are the people that the Prophet ﷺ called al-muflis. They come on the day of judgment, they've done good work, but on the side, they've wasted time by backbiting people, gossiping, slandering, and all of that. And their good deeds will now be given to this other person, because that's the currency for the day, right? You can't tell the person, I'm sorry. Now? Right. And the person now shows up, start taking all your sins, or all your reward, all your good deeds, and now they're dumping their own sin on you. That's a muflis. The person becomes bankrupt because they wasted time in things that they have nothing to do with, things that does not even concern them.
In addition to just one point, I'm just trying to make. I was thinking of this, and I think one of the things we need to try to train ourselves ourselves to do, our children, our wives, and everybody, is just knowing when to be quiet. I think a lot of people get in trouble by talking too much.
Mm-hmm.
One poet says, if I talk too much, just tap me and say, bro, you're talking too much. You're talking excessively. I don't remember how it said, and it kept going to different examples. But when I want to go is, there's a famous hadith we all know. It says, Man kana yuminu billahi wal yawmil akhir.
فليكن خير أو ليصمت.
If you don't have nothing good to say, just be quiet. So if you know that if I start talking about this person, what benefit does it do? What value does it add to me? Oh, it doesn't have no value. If you evaluate that, you'll be quiet. And this is a really, really good character to kind of imbibe and learn, just to be quiet. When you're quiet, you save yourself from a lot of trouble, bro. Because nobody's going to quote you that, he said this. Oh, he's the one that said that, but I didn't say anything. And then just being quiet alone. Don't get yourself in a mess or an environment where they're always talking about people and said you're just listening, you didn't say anything. Because if you're in a place where they're backbiting, gossiping, slandering, and you do not say anything there, that means you are promoting that act. That means you're supporting it, you're endorsing it. But going back to just being quiet, meaning that you don't say things that does not add value, that does not have benefit. Because as one can be a person of honor from speaking, one can be a person of dishonor from speaking too. Speaking can elevate you, and it can put you down.
Right.
A poet says, Inna sukuta salamatun fala rubbama zara al-kalamu adawatan wa dirara. It says inna sukuta. It says being quiet. Salamatun fala rubbama. It gives you peace of mind. It gives you sakina. It gives you salam, peace. It says fala rubbama zara al-kalamu. Many speech, many things that people have uttered, and has given birth to adawa, enmity, hardship. Like, it's the one that said that. She said this, so look at what it has called. People have used their mouth to break homes.
Mm-hmm.
People have used their mouth to destroy community. So this is things we have to be careful, and that's part of now minding our business.
Right.
If we mind our business again, what are my? I mean, it's always important, and I think this will help all of us too. Each day you should have a check and balance, a to-do list. What are the things I want to accomplish today?
Mm-hmm.
Simple thing as, just fold my clothes, fix my bed. As simple as it is, if you do not pretty much, if you don't write it down on your to-do list, you will not accomplish it. Mm-hmm. So if you have goals and you work towards it, it will reduce time for you to have time for nonsense.
Right.
Does not, and again.
So those goals should be written so we don't just keep slouching and not doing what we're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. And procrastinating and lead to laziness and all that. Procrastinating and laziness, they're like twins. They go hand in hand. So
twins.
If you procrastinate, the chances that you'll be lazy is high.
Right.
If you're lazy, the chances that you procrastinate is high too. So you don't want to have those two combinations. It's a deadly it's like a double whopper. It's not going to take you somewhere good,
A double whopper?
Yeah.
McDonald's?
Yeah. So
nice one.
Yeah, I remember the Prophet says, Al-Mar'u ala dini khalil.
Yeah.
Ahadukum man yukhalil.
No.
Man is on the path of his bosom friend. So show me, Englishman would say, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. Right. If you hang out with people that are unserious, you're going to be unserious. If your heart are with people that is always reminding you about Allah, is perfect, adding value to you, that's what you're gonna be. You're not gonna have time to be worried about, oh, and that's the problem we have in the community. People are so engrossed about other people's business. Oh, how come they bought this house? Oh, I heard they just got a new car. I heard they're building a house in Nigeria. Oh my God, have you heard? I heard he's taking a
What does
second
that
wife.
literally? What does that have to do with you?
I heard he's taking a
Why
second
does
wife.
that concern you?
Exactly. So just let people do their own thing. Focus on you. That's the only way for you to grow spiritually, morally, psychologically, socially, whatever, economically. Focus on you. How do
Let me ask something. I'm thinking about something real quick.
go ahead
Let me ask something real quick. So, in this modern day,
now?
what is the limit of? How do we determine the limit of what concerns us and what does not concern us? Sometimes, or more often than not, we see that there are things that are happening in our societies, and we're being told, well, it does not affect you directly, so don't speak. Or just look the other way. Don't talk about it. Just, it does not affect you directly. Don't talk.
To
Right?
me, go ahead.
How do we how should we understand, and I know it's on a case by case matter, right? How should we understand those various case by case matter and which ones really concern us, even though our name is not mentioned, and which one does not really concern us? Where's the balance? How do we know that?
The way I see that, that's a very interesting question. One is anything that has to do with religion, it concerns us. Everything that would taint our Islam in a negative way, it is our job as Muslims to defend Islam.
Mm-hmm.
How we defend it, we have to do it with hikmah, with wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
And Islam doesn't teach us extreme. We have to do it, oh, if somebody, kind of try to tarnish the image of Islam by writing something, let's write something back if we can, if we're in the position to. Somebody do a video, let's do the same, let's use the same approach, but in a in a respectful manner
Mm-hmm.
with wisdom. Anything that has to do with your family or your personality, it's for you to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody's talking about your brother, your sister, if it's something that is that is serious, that you think this is a live chat, it's going to affect the image and everything. If you want to even involve yourself, know your limits.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I see it. Wallahu alam.
Yeah, that make it easy.
I
And that
mean,
make it easy. Because I was thinking of how should we understand those type of situations. And I know because of time, I'm going to wrap up now. How should we understand those situations? Because there are some things that are communal responsibilities, and there are some things that are they're on a communal point, but individuals have that responsibilities too, right?
I agree.
There are some agendas that can be pushed in our society that we cannot just sit back and say, well, it does not concern me. Because if we sit back and say it does not concern us, over time, the effect of it will creep into our homes.
I agree. I agree.
And
I
Allah
mean,
tells
and
us in the Quran,
that's
Ya
things
ayyuha
about women.
alladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Right? So for us to protect our families, we have to initially protect the onset of what's coming first in the society.
So that
Because if we let this spread in the
it will not have a
society,
ripple effect on
it's
our
gonna have a
own.
ripple effect, and then it affects the home too.
Yeah, I agree.
You know.
Things of that nature, and things we know that, oh, this is gonna affect our children, it's gonna affect our deen, it's gonna jeopardize the way we practice our Islam. Of
Hmm.
course, it's gonna affect our means of livelihood. Yes, we
Hmm.
gotta speak up on that. Because
Right.
Islam wants us, hifzul nafs is part of it's part of the tenets
Because of
of
the
the Sharia,
Sharia.
the because of the
Right.
Sharia now.
Right.
So things of that nature, man, Allah just make it easy though.
Amen. 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 Alhamdulillah. Hmm. Alhamdulillah. I think it's a good place to pause, right?
Yes, now.
Alhamdulillah. May Allah accept from us, inshallah.
Ameen, ameen. Jazakumullah khair.
All right. We'll speak later, inshallah. Masalam.
Wa alaikum salam.
Now.